small business owners stay small business owners because they don't give their jobs away. Yeah. And that's a scary, crazy, hard thing to do. But you have to be, like, again, that compelling future of like what could be. That has to be more exciting than the thing you're sticking in.
Right. Allowing that to pull you forward.
Comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the freedom comes when you're more excited about what could be than like staying in the safety of what already is.
Welcome, everybody, to the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Hathaway. This podcast is focused on helping people find freedom. So to do that, we interview big hitters across different industries, top producers, and we talk about different hacks, tips, tricks that got them to where they are. And I'm joined by some good friends today, Blayne and Hilary. You guys, well, I'll start with this. Okay, brief and brilliant, 30 seconds or less. Who you are, what you do, and then I want to ask some other stuff.
Great. I'm Blayne.
I'm Hilla.
This is Hilla. We are whole teams, and we do executive coaching for small startups. We work with founders, and we work with their teams.
Yeah, you want to tell more about kind of your background, and then you can do the same?
So I was a therapist for a number of years. Then I moved to Silicon Valley. Found the smallest startup I could find. Helped scale it to like over 200, and then did other things, other startups, and kind of became this like CEO startup guru person that like now I just coach a bunch of startup founders, and a lot of them are in the Bay. Some of them are not in the Bay, but what I found that I love the most is working with their teams, working with them plus their teams, because it's all gathered together. Everything affects everything. So that's my passion. That's why we created Whole Teams. It's because it's about wholeness for a whole team.
Beautifully said.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And I'm Hilla. Blayne and I met out in the Bay Area. I was more of kind of the corporate drone type.
Oh, you guys didn't go to college? That was going to be my guess.
No. But, kindred spirits. So, so I worked for a consulting firm for a long time, and kind of similar. So working with leaders of teams, helping them hire and retain top talent, and kind of helping them look inward to see like how is the things, my own blind spots or avoidance of, wanting to address things within myself, how does that affect kind of the team itself and sort of perpetuate dysfunction? So hard conversations, but also a lot of that just comes down to like being in their world, investing, caring about them as people. And then kind of helping guide, come alongside them, behind them, to guide them towards kind of their own greatness. And then that, emanates right into the culture of the team. So really fun stuff. An honor really to be in kind of that level of, intimacy is a weird word, but like really invested, right, on the day-to-day, and helping build those teams out to being highly effective and high producing, right? But also feeling like we love what we do. We're stoked to show up in the morning, and we're like that true deep level of commitment to one another. That's when you start to see magic happen. So, yeah.
Well, you said, I remember you guys were talking, you talked about like your ideal client. So what kind of people do you guys like to work with?
Oh man. So we've thought about this many times. And like the best thing to do when you have a business is like, here's your ideal client. This is the thing, is I think it looks really different for our ideal client is any leader who wants to look inward and wants to like actually do that work with themselves and then with their team.
So I would be a bad client.
You're going to be a great client.
It's going to take you a minute, but we're going to get you there. Because it can be somebody who's like, I'm a startup founder of like a team of 10, or it can be I am a VP and I have a team of 50 at a larger company, or it can be, even wider than that. But it's basically any leader who's like, I got stuff, I know it trickles down, and I want to do the work I need to do so that like I'm the best leader I can be, and that my team can actually really function like on all cylinders.
Yeah.
It's really about like, how do we streamline? How do we make this like, you got to slow down a little bit to speed up. You're quick. lot of leaders are quick and they're like bam, 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 bam. But the value is like how you slow down enough to like think about what you need to work on so that you stop creating all these like bumps in the road.
Yeah. There's a sobriety and humility in it. And it's not to say don't keep moving. I know you talked about a lot of your experiences working in kind of Silicon Valley. It was like I can't remember how you said, like we're on a burning ship in the middle of the ocean.
We are
How do we
flying
keep
plane as we build it.
right? So there is that reality.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. The teams that I work with are mostly or that we work with are mostly like venture backed. You know, they are sink or swim.
Yeah.
And so I guess
And you get scrappy.
yeah, our philosophy is around like for you to actually succeed, your relationships, these are high stakes relationships. Yeah, they have to be really, really, really good for you not to say. 55% of startups fail because of interpersonal conflict. And then the founding few team members at the top.
I think it's very similar in churches and mission teams too, I think.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Say more.
Is that right?
Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah.
What's
They're not as
observation?
stand up, but I'm pretty sure it's a majority.
No, yeah, say more on that. That's interesting.
Well, I don't know what else to say about that. When I was going overseas to be a missionary, I just heard that a lot of teams failed for that exact reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we love working with just like super creative, these like super brainy, super creative,
Neurotic.
mostly neurotic people. Yeah. but they have these like incredible ideas, but the interpersonal stuff going on between them and maybe their co-founder or them and their wife or them and their whomever.
All right. These two right here.
Is keeping that. Yeah. What the videographers, that it keeps them from actually like getting this thing out that they were like born to make.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
So we want to like, that's my like heartbeat is.
Yeah. I also think it's worth mentioning, but interesting that Blayne and I both have
Oh yeah, let's go there.
differences in how we grew up.
Oh,
So
totally.
both our dads, turns
I
out,
was going to ask about
were
that.
small business owners who, so we were kind of like, that was our, how do I say, like our natural environment growing up. We're used to how those dynamics, like family business stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, and knowing like when something's going off the rails, you know, like we can feel it in the family dynamic. And so I think we were kind of born into understanding maybe some of those nuances.
Totally. Yes. I love
from a young age. So some of it, I think, there's an art and a science to kind of getting inside the mind and the world of someone who has a dream and who's trying to make it come to life. And then, you know, there's just stages to that, right? Like, especially when we're talking about startups and there's a lot on the line. And it might be you and your buddies at first, but then you're moving up to 20, 30 people. And now not everyone was in your original garage. But it's important that, you know, there's a consistent sort of commitment culture. I'm kind of saying the same stuff now, but you get where I'm going.
Yeah.
What are the 2 to 3 to 4 issues that you guys see over and over and over again?
Mm-hmm. Lack of clarity is a big one.
Yeah. I think it's a lack of tile vision. And it takes being decisive
Yeah.
of like, this is what we're building.
Yep. And it's got to be pretty specific.
Yeah. This is what we're building. This is what we're not building.
Yeah.
You have to say no to 100 good ideas. Say yes to the one great idea.
Yes.
And so that like lack of clarity and lack of communication and I think that word is so like improving communication feels like, but it's like, how do you lead your team around this really compelling future? Mm-hmm. This is what we're doing. This is the North Star. This is where we're going.
Yep.
And getting everybody like, whew, okay, I really get it. I can really feel it. Because people get distracted, you know, or there's like, but if you can always kind of center in on the clarity of like, this is where we're going. Yep. This is what we're doing. And repeating that, it feels like, well, I've already said it. I wonder if you even feel this sometimes.
No, I mean, you're literally just describing me. Or that's exactly what I've been feeling with my team lately. So,
like, why do I have to repeat myself? I said it in the stand last week, right? Whatever, you know. But like getting people, it's like that steady drumbeat of like, this is where
we're rowing all in this direction.
Doing. Yeah. That's a big one. I think.
Well,
so many I could say.
It's so good.
I get less than 2 minutes to say everything you want to say about that.
About that?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Well, I was saying
may have said everything about that.
Well, I was going to say coupled with that then is sometimes then having a lack of compassion, right, around like, why are they not getting it? But if you don't kind of couple that with some compassion, however that works, right, in your own way, I think your team you're going to start to lose them. So I think it's kind of having the clarity, but also having compassion around, like, I believe in you guys and in your abilities and in your strengths, and I'm not going to give you like 1-2 chances and then you're gone. Within reason, right?
It's like an empathy. I love the word compassion, but it's like an empathy of, I actually get you. And this is the other piece we talk about all the time, is like, the best leaders are the most self-aware.
Yes.
They're the most self-aware of like what their crap is and like what their blind spots are. And they're the most self-aware of like where they need help.
Well,
and in order to be that kind of self-aware, you also need to be really like, you need to have a high level of emotional intelligence to know your team and know
what motivates them,
what
doesn't,
what scares them, how do they experience you as their leader.
That's so important.
That requires a different mental shift to be like, hey, I'm gonna really unlock this person if I tell them something this way, and I'm gonna really freeze them up if I tell it to them.
Totally.
And that's a lot of the work we do, is like helping people really understand like each other's DNA. This is like, and not overly woo-woo, not overly like, let's talk about feelings.
Yeah,
but it's like, you got to really understand.
That was a great little video bite, by the way. I'll add it up.
Well, it's compassion, it's empathy, but it's like understanding yourself.
Yeah.
To the extent where like you can ask yourself some good questions so that you know how to ask other people good questions.
Right. This is a bit of a one-off, but it made me remember there was a time the CEO at my old firm he did like a 360, had a 360 done himself around from his executive team.
Yeah.
And he put up on the screen to like our whole company. It was wild. The negative feedback about him, like areas of that his core team would like to see him improve. Super freaking vulnerable. But in the right time and place, that can be such a, like, because he's modeling, right? Like, here's what it looks like to say, I want feedback that's hard to hear because I know that's the only way to improve. Yeah. So not always, to that degree. That was like insane to me. But I think there's an element of that to take away for leaders to be willing to do that work and willing to ask hard questions and empower others to do the same, right? Like, so much of influence comes down to modeling the behavior yourself.
Right.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Anyway.
Plus 1,000 to that, because I'm like, if I can show my underbelly a bit of like, I can show like, this is the stuff I suck at, your team is going to be 10 times more likely to say, hey, I screwed up.
I feel safer now.
Hey, I don't get it.
Yeah. And then you don't do all the like, they go off for, 2 hours on the wrong track because they're too afraid to say, like, I don't actually get what you just said. Yeah. I think it was this. Then you're like, wait, what have you been doing this whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing we teach is just called like the playback. Like, as the leader, I'm telling you, this is what I think. This is what I need you to do. Play it back to me. What did you just hear?
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much it's like, oh my God,
that was lost in translation.
Oh, you
entirely
like this when actually, oh, it was different. Now we can tweak. Now we can, oh, okay, you heard this. I heard that. Now we can actually recalibrate. Play back to me what I heard. And even doing that with them too, having it go both ways. Let's do it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Stuff. I don't know, but
we both know this from a place that we both know that. The story I have in my head is this. The story I have in my head right now is just that you're feeling this, or that you're upset about this, or whatever. This is the story I have in my head right now. Am I on? Am I right? Like, can we calibrate right now? Like, there's a couple really good questions that leaders can get good at asking, and the more that you do those, the more like, oh, this is cool. This is how we can operate as a team. Stuff starts to flow.
Sure.
Powerful.
That's great.
How are you guys seeing AI used in your industry, I suppose?
Replacing a lot of jobs.
Yeah. Well, there's a big fear of AI.
And how are you guys using it?
Yes.
There's a fear of AI. I would say like all of our San Francisco like crew is like my job's going to be obsolete in like 4 years or less. So there's fear. I just could spend like hours having a conversation with ChatGPT about all sorts of stuff. So
Will you talk to it or you type to it?
both. If I'm in the car, I'm talking to ChatGPT until it's like, you breach your monthly limit. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to upgrade now because I like love you talking. But like if I'm prepping for a meeting with someone and I know their Enneagram type, I'll be like, hey, I'm meeting with this person. This is their background. This is their Enneagram. This is this and this. Give me some ideas of like what like I should keep in mind with them. And that's one of the tools that we love to use. We have our own tool that we use with teams, kind of that's like the team DNA stuff. That includes some of that, but I love it for like prepping of like how do I know all I can know about someone
For research,
yeah, and it like gives me such good insight on that.
I also think a call back to VA, like and sort of the spirit behind like how do we free up our time and from the things that we just don't want to do or that feel like a total drain on time, like not a good use of it. Figuring out ways ChatGPT can do it for you. So at the similar, right? But like at the very least, giving you some bones or an outline or structure when it's like, I don't even know where to begin on this proposal or this, I don't know. Totally. You've got some bits and pieces, but you're not sure how to kind of frame it up. It kind of gets my brain rolling if someone kind of gives me a baseline. So how about for you?
Oh man, what industry? Which one? Financial advisor?
Yeah,
coaching?
financial advisor.
Oh, well, financial advisor, I mean, I use it to ask questions all the time. Like, hey, the client wants this much money by the time they retire. How much money do they need to save or spend? Or, and there's retirement planning software for that. But you can, I use it a lot for content creation. So gives me a great idea. Great, hey, give me 6 viral TikTok trends right now.
Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. How I follow you, I'm like, how did he think to do that silly, like, I'm rolling on my back and now I'm like talking.
Well, actually, so shout out to
who told him to do that?
Shout out to Content Supply, but we're starting to use Content Supply is my marketing firm. They give me those ideas.
Nice.
But you can also just do that.
Yeah, it's like such a good idea generator of like a place to start. Like like I think all 3 of us at this table right now are like we're pretty creative. Yeah. That's like what gets our juices flowing for worker. I love it for that reason because it like makes that starting point of like I have an idea, but like give me a little bit this, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Now I can kind of run. Now that I have some bones of an idea.
The theme of this show is freedom, always and in all ways. So time, energy, relational, financial. You guys work with a lot of successful founders, business owners. What have you seen as far as like what the guys that have the most time, energy, freedom? Like what are they doing right? What's the difference?
They're delegating, but really, I mean, there has to be a high level of trust for that to work, for you to really let it go.
Yeah. They are, yes. We could go on a whole rabbit trail. We should do that of like the things that get in the way of delegating.
But that's critical.
I also think that they are ruthlessly prioritizing the things that really bring them life. And that delegating is part of that, right? But I think sometimes small business owners or startup founders, they forget what makes them just like
come alive.
Yeah. And sometimes it's the small stuff that they just like, oh, I forgot that like 10 years ago, I used to do this a lot and it just made me so happy. And I don't even remember. So like they become addicted to their work because that's all that's put in that gives them that little hit of, right? But like slowing down enough and kind of doing this like inventory of what do I really love?
Yeah.
What do I really care about? And what are those moments, even if they're like small and still and quiet moments of like waking up with my kids in the morning and we have this special thing, or surfing Mexico. That's Andrew, right? But like for me, it's like finding a trail in the middle of nowhere and just like running, or like, so I think it's like slowing down enough where you can be like, I care about making space for that so much because it makes me feel the most alive that I now will decide.
That comes first.
I have to get rid of these other things. Like that matters most because that's like my inner, that's really who I am. The essence of like what makes me alive.
Sure.
So you need to know that stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people forget what that even is, or they don't know. So they have to kind of like slow down to find that out.
Yeah. Take a step back.
Have you ever found like you have people in your life where you're like, you don't even know how to have fun. You don't know how to relax. That was my dad growing up for sure. He had
Same.
no idea.
Workaholics. Love him, but workaholic.
Yeah. And he was the most vibrant, happy, fun person in the room. But like, if you asked him to sit still, he couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
And you also
about
self-bound.
What'd you say?
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Wouldn't know anything about it. I think that's all real talk. The other thing I think is learning how to replicate yourself. Clone yourself. So not letting your ego get in the way of that, right? And also like that's really more important than getting the thing done is figuring out how to train someone up to be you.
Giving your job away.
That over and over and over.
When I say that to a CEO founder, they're like, huh. Like, give my job away.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying. No. Like, for you to scale yourself, you have to get good at giving your job away.
Yes. And then keep going.
And keep going.
To the next thing you want to tackle.
You know, small business owners stay small business owners because they don't give their jobs away. Yeah. And that's a scary, crazy, hard thing to do. But you have to, like, again, that compelling future of, like, what could be. That has to be more exciting than the thing you're sticking in.
Right. Allowing that to pull you forward.
Comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the freedom comes when you're more excited about what could be than, like, staying in the safety of what already is. You know? Like, this is safe. This is known. I'm going to keep doing this on repeat because it makes me feel important.
Yeah.
It makes me feel productive.
Yep.
Whatever, you know?
This is cheesy, but I don't care. Tony Robbins talks about where focus goes, energy flows. So I'm thinking about that compelling future. Like, keep your eyes ahead because then that's where your energy is going to go. And then things start to fit into place, right?
And you start to be like, yeah, take it.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah.
I'm more excited about what that is.
Right.
When it get us there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. You guys dropped some bombs on me today.
Oh.
I wasn't expecting that.
Are we already done?
No, we got to wrap it up. So, okay, I had 2 more questions for you.
Let's go quick.
We got to keep it brief and brilliant. There's been some discussion behind closed doors amongst big decision makers
Okay.
about a potential formal partnership between Virtual Assist and Whole Teams. Tell me about that and why you're excited about that.
Wow.
Yes.
That's an interview question.
No, it feels like he's trying to put a brainworm in.
No, it makes. Okay,
It makes a lot of sense.
Go first.
I think that is a compelling idea. There's a lot about what you're building and where you want to go that aligns with what we're doing and what we're good at. And so especially that piece around coaching. So providing people with the tools, but then kind of getting under the surface, under the hood, with kind of the people side of business owners and their organizations.
Yeah.
Is our sweet spot.
Right.
So there could be something there.
Work with founders and like business owners and their teams to help them like just work better together, right? So like what you teach is the hardest thing first, which is like giving things up so that you can do what like your sweet spot is. That takes the process for some people.
Yeah.
It's not just like oh, sure, okay, here's the keys, right?
Right.
Like you have to develop those skills to, I know how to train someone to do this. I know how to help someone think like I do so that like they know how to like take this on and I can actually trust them.
Right.
It takes some like living in that like tension and that discomfort. Okay, I'm trying. I'm going to give some stuff away.
Yep.
So that I can do this. Or even what is the stuff that you're going to go do? Like the zone of genius and the sweet spot, right? Like, does every leader know what that is for themselves? Not really. They're like, yeah, I may be the best one at selling, but I don't love it, you know? Yeah. So like getting them clicked into like, what is the thing you should be doing?
Preach. That's where stuff gets good though. I mean,
it's all just like people stuff and it's so fun and exciting.
Fascinating.
My Zone of Genius is running podcasts.
It is.
Here we are. We're in your zone.
Came in, we're like, we don't know what we're doing with this. I know. But it's just this insanely awesome.
Christian Joe Rogan, I'm here all night. Thank you, Mom, and my sister and brother for watching.
Yes.
If people want to find out more about Whole Teams, where can they go?
Go to our LinkedIn right now. Our website is going to launch in like the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's going to relaunch. There was a website. We're redoing it. It's going to be much more beautiful now.
As it goes with website.
Really, it's reach out to us. You'll see us on LinkedIn. Let's talk. at whole-teams.com, and we'll talk.
And we'll talk.
Is that real or is it just AI?
No, that's real. That's like it's a real email address.
Mm-hmm.
But an AI robot will respond.
I can set
Just
that up. I can set that up for you. It works.
Great.
It
Okay.
works.
We're speaking it into existence.
We need some virtual assistants to make
Yeah.
we could use the
Everybody needs some virtual assistants.
Business being done on air. I like it. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. This is the Big Hitters Pod. We only have big hitters on the show. All right. So, okay. We do virtual assistant staffing. So if you are a business owner, if you have things that you want to get off your plate, we can help you find freedom, time freedom, relational freedom. It's been a cheat code for me, for my family, for my company. And yeah, thanks so much for joining us, guys.
This was so
Loved it. Thanks for having us.
Good time.
Thanks for
Yeah.